Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of Orbital Defense Station Alpha, watching Earth's blue sphere rotate slowly beneath her. 20 years of military service had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now, every fiber of her being screamed that something was wrong. "Admiral, you need to see this," Captain Rodriguez called from his monitoring station. "We're detecting multiple quantum signatures beyond Neptune's orbit." They just appeared. Chen moved swiftly to the holographic display. The readings showed hundreds of objects, their energy signatures unlike anything in Earth's database. They were arranged in a precise geometric pattern that could only be artificial. "How many?" she asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. 732 objects, varying in size from small craft to vessels larger than anything we've ever built. They're holding position just beyond Neptune's orbit. The room fell silent as technicians and officers processed the implications. Humanity's first contact with alien life wasn't going to be a single exploratory vessel or a peaceful delegation. This was a fleet. "Send Alert Protocol Omega to all UEF bases," Chen ordered. The United Earth Federation had prepared for this possibility, but the reality of it still felt surreal. "And get me a secure line to the Security Council." Before Rodriguez could comply, every screen in the command center flickered. A figure appeared, humanoid but clearly alien, with iridescent scales covering its face and multiple pairs of eyes arranged in a hexagonal pattern. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, its voice resonating with an otherworldly harmonic. "I am Grand Admiral Zextal of the Galactic Confederation. Your civilization has been observed for the past century. We have determined that your species requires guidance." Chen's fingers tightened on the console. A century of observation. Earth's most advanced detection systems had only been active for decades. How had they remained hidden? "We offer you a choice," Zextal continued. "Accept membership in the Confederation under our direct supervision, or face immediate quarantine. Your military capabilities will be reduced to maintain galactic peace. You have 12 Earth hours to submit your response." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Similar messages were being broadcast worldwide, in every language, on every communication channel. Chen's quantum communicator chimed. A direct link from the UEF Security Council. President Maya Patel's hologram appeared, her expression grave but determined. "Admiral Chen, your assessment." "Madam President, this isn't a negotiation. It's a prelude to conquest. The fleet formation, the ultimatum's timing, the demand for military reduction. They're following a standard subjugation protocol." "How can you be so certain?" Chen's eyes narrowed. "Because it's exactly what we would do if we were lying about our intentions. The question is, why give us 12 hours? With their apparent technological advantage, why not strike immediately?" President Patel nodded slowly. "Then it's time. Initiate Protocol Lazarus." Chen's breath caught in her throat. "Are you certain, Madam President? Once we reveal it." "They've already shown their hand, Admiral. They expect us to be primitive, predictable. Let's show them how wrong they are." Chen entered a complex sequence into her quantum communicator, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known only to a handful of people. Something stirred. For 30 years, the UEF had been preparing for this moment. While the world focused on traditional space programs and public military development, a secret project had been underway. Using reversed-engineered technology from a crashed scout ship found in the Mariana Trench, humanity had built something unprecedented. Authorization confirmed. The facility's AI announced. Project Lazarus initiating wake-up sequence. Estimated time to full activation, 10 hours. Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Confederation thought they were dealing with a primitive species that would bow to superior technology. They hadn't done their homework properly. If they had, they might have noticed the missing resources, the unexplained energy signatures, the brilliant scientists who had seemingly disappeared from public life. They weren't ready for what humanity had created. They weren't ready for the ESS Lazarus. As Chen watched the activation countdown begin, she thought about the irony. The Confederation had given Earth 12 hours to surrender, not knowing they had provided exactly the time needed to wake humanity's secret weapon. In trying to conquer Earth, they had given humanity the perfect opportunity to reveal just how dangerous they truly were. The game was about to change, and the galaxy wasn't ready for what was coming. The Lazarus facility, hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean's crushing depths, hummed with controlled chaos. Dr. Kira Patel, lead engineer of Project Lazarus, moved through crowds of technicians and military personnel, her eyes fixed on the massive viewing window before her. Through the reinforced transparent aluminum, she could see humanity's greatest achievement taking form. The ESS Lazarus was unlike anything ever conceived by human minds. Its crystalline hull seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it, the result of metamaterials that could adapt their properties in real time. At 2.5 kilometers long, it dwarfed any vessel humans had publicly built, yet its true power lay not in its size, but in its revolutionary technology. "Beautiful, isn't she?" a voice asked. Dr. Patel turned to find Admiral Chen approaching, her uniform pristine despite the facility's frantic activity. "How long until she's ready?" "The quantum core is stabilizing faster than expected," Kira replied, checking her holographic displays. "The adaptive AI is fully integrated, and weapons systems are at 95% capacity. We'll be ready within the time limit." Chen nodded, studying the ship. "The Confederation is getting impatient. They've moved their fleet past Saturn's orbit. Tell me something good about our chances." Kira allowed herself a brief smile. "Remember that alien scout ship we found? The one that gave us our first glimpse of advanced technology. We didn't just reverse engineer it. We improved upon it. The Lazarus isn't just a warship. It's an evolutionary leap." She gestured to various sections of the vessel as she spoke. "The quantum core doesn't just power the ship. It learns from energy patterns it encounters. Every weapon fired at us makes us stronger. The crystalline hull isn't just armor. It's a living matrix that adapts to any threat. And the AI..." She paused, pride evident in her voice. "It processes combat scenarios in ways that would make Sun Tzu jealous." "And the special editions?" Chen asked quietly. "Ready. The dimensional phase drive is stable, and the gravity manipulation systems exceed all test parameters. They think they're fighting primitives with borrowed technology. They don't realize we've had 30 years to innovate." Warning klaxons suddenly blared throughout the facility. Captain Rodriguez's voice came over the quantum comm. "Admiral, the Confederation fleet has accelerated. They'll reach Earth orbit in 6 hours. They're not sticking to their own deadline." Chen muttered. "Typical." "Dr. Patel, we can launch in 3 hours." "But Admiral..." Kira hesitated. "There's something you should know. During our last deep scan of their fleet, we detected anomalies. Some of their ships are broadcasting on frequencies that don't match Confederation protocols." Chen's eyes narrowed. "Meaning?" "Not everyone in that fleet wants to be there. I've analyzed the patterns. At least a third of their ships are from subjugated species. The Confederation isn't just here to conquer us. They're using conquered races to do their dirty work." The Admiral was quiet for a moment, processing this information. "Can we communicate with these other ships without the Confederation knowing?" The Lazarus's quantum communication array was specifically designed to be untraceable. "If we can get close enough, then we might be able to turn their own fleet against them." Chen straightened her uniform. "Speed up the launch preparations. I want us ready in 2 hours." As Chen left, Kira turned back to the viewing window. The Lazarus's hull had begun to pulse with a soft blue light as its quantum core approached full power. Deep within the ship, 500 crew members, the best Earth had to offer, prepared for their roles in humanity's most important mission. They had trained for years in secret, sacrificing normal lives to prepare for this moment. Each had been chosen not just for their skills, but for their ability to think creatively, to adapt, to see solutions where others saw only problems. They were humanity's best hope, and they were about to show the galaxy why Earth shouldn't be underestimated. In orbit, the Confederation fleet continued its advance, unaware that their supposed easy conquest was about to become something very different. They had come expecting to find primitive humans playing with technology they didn't understand. Instead, they would face an enemy that had taken their technology and transformed it into something new, something that defied their understanding of what was possible. The Lazarus was more than a warship. It was humanity's statement to the galaxy. We will not be conquered. We will not be controlled. And we are far more dangerous than you could have imagined. As the launch countdown began, Kira thought about the name they had chosen for the ship. Lazarus, the one who rose from the dead. Soon, the Confederation would learn why that name was so appropriate. They thought they were here to bury humanity's dreams of independence. Instead, they would witness humanity's resurrection as a power that would shake the foundations of their empire. The real question was, when the dust settled, would there be anything left of the Confederation's carefully constructed hierarchy? Somehow, Kira doubted it. After all, revolutions had a way of spreading, and they were about to light a very big fuse. The ESS Lazarus emerged from the depths of the Pacific like a leviathan rising from myth. Seawater cascaded from its crystalline hull as it pierced the ocean's surface, its quantum core humming with barely contained power. On the bridge, Captain Maya Santiago watched as Earth's atmosphere fell away beneath them, her crew working their stations with practiced precision. All systems nominal, reported Commander Jack Chen, First Officer and Admiral Chen's son. Quantum core stable at 98% capacity. The Confederation fleet hasn't detected us yet. Maya allowed herself a tight smile. The Lazarus's stealth systems were working perfectly. Another innovation born from 3 decades of secret development. Time to intercept. At current velocity, we'll reach Saturn's rings in 40 minutes. The Confederation's main fleet will arrive there in 35. Perfect. The rings would provide cover for what Maya had planned. She opened a channel to engineering. Dr. Patel, status of the gravity manipulation systems. Ready, Captain. Kira's voice came through clearly. The ice particles in Saturn's rings will make perfect ammunition, just as we theorized. One thing, though, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from some of the Confederation ships. The ones we suspect belong to subjugated species. They're running their engines at minimal power. They're dragging their feet. Maya mused. Good. Send the encrypted quantum transmission we prepared. Let's see who among our enemies might prefer to be friends. The Lazarus accelerated silently through space, its revolutionary engines leaving no traditional exhaust trail. As they approached Saturn, the massive gas giant's rings stretched out before them like a giant's necklace. The Confederation fleet was already there, their ships arranging themselves in an attack formation. Incoming transmission, announced Lieutenant Sarah Wong from Communications. It's Grand Admiral Zextal. On screen, Maya ordered, straightening in her command chair. The alien admiral's scaled face appeared, his multiple eyes narrowing as he took in the bridge of the Lazarus. So the primitives managed to hide one warship. Impressive, but futile. Surrender now, and we may still show mercy. Maya's response was calm, measured. This is Captain Santiago of the ESS Lazarus. We've analyzed your fleet composition, Admiral. How many of your ships are crewed by species you've conquered? How many are here against their will? Zextal's scales darkened, apparently an indication of anger. You know nothing of galactic politics, primitive. The Confederation brings order to chaos. Those species now serve a greater purpose. We're transmitting this conversation to every ship in your fleet, Maya replied, along with our scans showing which vessels are running at minimal power. Interesting coincidence, don't you think? The alien admiral's response was cut off by Commander Chen's urgent report. Multiple ships breaking formation. Confederation cruisers are powering weapons. And so it begins, Maya said softly. Battle stations. Initiate Operation Avalanche. The Lazarus's crystalline hull began to pulse with energy as it accelerated towards Saturn's rings. Confederation ships opened fire, their energy weapons lighting up space with deadly beauty. But the human vessel moved with impossible grace, each shot missing by meters. Gravity manipulation systems online. Kira reported from engineering. Ready on your mark. Maya watched as the enemy ships followed them into the rings. Perfect. Execute avalanche. All hands. Brace for maneuver. What happened next would be talked about in galactic circles for centuries. The Lazarus activated its gravity manipulation systems at full power, but not as a weapon, as a conductor's baton. Millions of tons of ice and rock from Saturn's rings began to move in intricate patterns, forming a deadly dance of debris. Confederation ships found themselves caught in an artificial meteor storm, their shields buckling under impacts they couldn't predict or evade. At the same time, dozens of vessels, those belonging to subjugated species, suddenly turned their weapons on their Confederation masters. "Sir," Wong called out, "we're receiving transmissions from 15 different species within the fleet. They're declaring support for Earth." The battlefield had become chaos. The Confederation's neat formations broke apart as former slaves turned against their masters. The Lazarus moved through it all like a deadly phantom, its adaptive hull absorbing every hit it couldn't dodge, its quantum core growing stronger with each impact. "Target their command ship," Maya ordered. "Precision strikes only. We don't want to harm our new allies." The Lazarus's main weapon powered up, a quantum lance that could penetrate any known shielding. One shot was all it took. Grand Admiral Zextal's flagship shields collapsed, its engines disabled. "Enemy command ship neutralized," reported Tactical. "Confederation forces are in full retreat. Allied ships are forming up around us." Maya opened a channel to all ships. "This is Captain Santiago. The Confederation came here expecting to find primitives. Instead, they found humanity, and we just proved we won't be conquered or controlled. To our new allies, welcome to the revolution." The battle was over, but Maya knew this was just the beginning. As she watched former slave ships take position alongside the Lazarus, she couldn't help but smile. The Confederation hadn't just failed to conquer Earth, they had given humanity the perfect opportunity to change the galaxy forever. In the debris field that was once Saturn's pristine rings, a new alliance was forming. And at its heart was a ship that proved humanity's greatest strength wasn't the technology they'd created, but their ability to inspire others to fight for freedom. Aboard the ESS Lazarus, the command center had been transformed into an impromptu diplomatic hall. Representatives from 15 formerly subjugated species gathered around a holographic display of Confederation space, each bringing crucial intelligence about their former oppressors. Captain Santiago studied her unlikely allies, the crystalline Arxens, who could process information at speeds that made quantum computers look slow. The ethereal Veth, whose natural ability to phase through solid matter had been weaponized by the Confederation. The biomechanical Kith, whose living ships could heal themselves. Each species had been conquered, their unique abilities twisted to serve Confederation goals. "The Confederation's power structure is built on lies," explained Vexera, an Arxian diplomat whose crystalline form shimmered with internal light. "They convince each species that they are alone in their resistance, that submission is universal. Until now," added Kith Commander Sin, their biomechanical components pulsing with energy. "Your actions at Saturn have sparked something unprecedented. Slave ships are refusing orders across 12 sectors." Dr. Kira Patel, who had joined the meeting, leaned forward. "Our quantum communications array has been adapted to match all your species' protocols. We can coordinate resistance efforts across the entire Confederation network." "That's not all," interjected Commander Chen, bringing up new sensor data. "Show them what we found." "Doctor." Kira nodded, manipulating the holographic display. "We've analyzed the energy signatures from various Confederation technologies. They're not as advanced as they want everyone to believe, Most of their superior technology was stolen from the species they conquered. The revelation sent murmurs through the gathered aliens. The Veth representative, a being of translucent energy named Ixal, moved closer to the display. Their primary advantage was never technological superiority. It was their ability to keep us divided, to prevent us from sharing knowledge. "Then let's change that," Captain Santiago said, standing. "Each of your species has unique abilities and technologies. Combined with our innovations," she gestured to the Lazarus around them, "we could create something the Confederation never imagined. True cooperation." Warning signals suddenly blared through the ship. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. Lieutenant Wong announced from her station. Confederation reinforcements arriving from deep space. The tactical display shifted, showing hundreds of new ships emerging from quantum space. But something was different about these vessels. "Those are Primarch-class dreadnoughts," Vexera said, their crystalline form dimming with concern. "The Confederation's elite guard. They've never deployed them in such numbers." "They're scared," Maya realized. "We didn't just defeat their fleet. We shattered their image of invincibility. Now they're bringing out their best weapons." "Their only weapons," Kith Commander Sin corrected. "These ships are crewed by pure Confederation species. No slaves to turn against them this time." Maya turned to Dr. Patel. "How quickly can we implement the modifications we discussed?" Kira smiled. "The quantum core is already adapting the designs shared by our allies. Give me 2 hours. You have 1. Everyone else, return to your ships. Coordinate with Lieutenant Wong for battle formations." Maya straightened her uniform. "The Confederation thought they could keep us all divided and weak. Time to show them the power of unity." As their allies departed, the Lazarus's crew began preparations for the coming battle. In engineering, Dr. Patel worked frantically with her team, integrating alien technologies with human innovations. The Arxians' crystalline computing matrices merged with the ship's quantum core. Veth phase technology was adapted to enhance their stealth systems. Kith biological regeneration principles were applied to their hull structure. The result was something entirely new, a hybrid of technologies that no single species could have created alone. The Lazarus was becoming more than just a human warship. It was becoming a symbol of what cooperation could achieve. "Multiple Confederation broadcasters are transmitting across all frequencies," Wong reported. They're calling us demons, saying we've corrupted the natural order." "Good," Maya replied. "Let them see us as demons. Sometimes the most important revolutions start with a little fear." The Confederation dreadnoughts approached in perfect formation, their weapons charged. But they were about to face something they'd never encountered. A ship that combined the best aspects of 16 different species technologies, crewed by beings who had chosen to stand together. From her position on the bridge, Maya watched the enemy approach. The Lazarus's hull now rippled with new patterns, its surface a blend of crystalline structures and living metal. Energy readings were off the charts as the hybrid systems worked in perfect harmony. "All hands, battle stations," she ordered. "Let's show the Confederation what happens when they unite their enemies against them." The coming battle would decide more than just Earth's fate. It would determine whether the galaxy would continue under the Confederation's tyranny of division, or embrace a new future, one where different species worked together, where innovation came from cooperation rather than conquest. As the first shots were fired, Maya knew they had already achieved something remarkable. They had given the galaxy something it desperately needed: hope. And hope, combined with human ingenuity and alien wisdom, was about to become the deadliest weapon of all. Jupiter's massive form provided a dramatic backdrop as the most significant battle in galactic history began. The ESS Lazarus, now transformed by the combined technologies of 16 species, faced the Confederation's elite Primarch fleet. The human vessel's crystalline hull pulsed with living energy, each pattern telling the story of a different species' contribution to its evolution. "Enemy fleet holding position," Commander Chen reported. "They're charging primary weapons, energy signatures beyond anything we've seen." Captain Santiago stood at the center of her bridge, the gravity of the moment reflected in her steady gaze. Around her, representatives from each allied species worked at modified stations, their unique abilities enhancing the ship's capabilities in ways never before imagined. "They still don't understand," Dr. Paddle said from her engineering station, where Archean crystals merged with human quantum technology. "They see our cooperation as corruption, but it's made us stronger than they could possibly imagine." "Multiple transmissions incoming," Lieutenant Wong announced. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." The main screen activated, showing not just Grand Admiral Zextal, but the entire Confederation High Council, scaled, crystalline, and energy beings who represented the pure species that had founded the Galactic Empire. "This ends now," Zextal declared, his scales dark with rage. "You've corrupted the natural order, turned our servants against us. We will cleanse this corruption with fire. You still don't see it, do you?" Maya responded, her voice carrying across space to every ship in both fleets. "Your natural order was artificial. You didn't bring stability to the galaxy. You brought stagnation. Every species you conquered had something unique to offer, but you were too afraid of change to see it." "Enough," a crystalline council member interrupted. "All ships, open fire. Destroy this abomination." The space around Jupiter erupted in light as hundreds of Primarch dreadnoughts unleashed their full power. Energy beams that could shatter moons converged on the Lazarus position. For a moment, the human ship was completely engulfed in blinding light. But when the energy dissipated, the Lazarus remained. Its hybrid hull hadn't just survived. It had absorbed the attack, patterns of light racing across its surface as 16 different technologies worked in harmony to transform that energy into power. "Hull integrity at 300% normal capacity," reported Kith Commander Sin from the tactical station. "The biological components are actually growing stronger." "Phase generators at peak efficiency," added Ixel, the Veth's energy form brightening. "We can strike from any vector." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Show them what unity really means. All stations, execute Protocol Prometheus." The Lazarus's response was beyond anything the Confederation had thought possible. Archean crystal technology focused the absorbed energy through human quantum matrices. Veth phase technology allowed the beam to ignore conventional space, while Kith biological adaptations let it evolve as it traveled. The result was a weapon that represented the combined genius of 16 species. Confederation shields, designed to resist any single form of attack, proved useless against this hybrid assault. The Primarch dreadnoughts' defenses crumbled as they faced something their rigid doctrine had never prepared them for: true innovation born of cooperation. "Their command shift shields are down," Commander Chen reported. "Multiple Confederation vessels are losing power." "Send the signal," Maya ordered. Throughout Confederation space, quantum transmitters activated. Every subjugated world, every enslaved species, received proof that the invincible Confederation could be defeated. More importantly, they saw how it had been done, not through superior firepower, but through cooperation and shared innovation. The response was immediate. Across thousands of worlds, resistance movements activated. Slave ships turned on their masters. The carefully maintained hierarchy of the Confederation began to crumble. "We're receiving surrenders from multiple Primarch vessels," Wong announced, her voice tight with emotion. "A High Council. They're requesting terms." Maya opened a channel to all ships, her voice carrying to every corner of Confederation space. "The terms are simple. Freedom. Every species determines its own path. Knowledge and technology are shared, not hoarded. The age of conquest ends today." The next few hours were a blur of activity as the former Confederation reorganized itself. The High Council was disbanded, replaced by a cooperative alliance where each species had equal representation. The Lazarus became a symbol of this new era, a ship where 16 different species worked together, proving that diversity was strength. 1 month later, Captain Santiago stood in the United Earth Federation Assembly Hall, addressing representatives from over 100 alien species. "The Galactic Cooperative Alliance begins today," she announced, "not as conquerors and conquered, but as equals. Earth joins this alliance not as its leader, but as its catalyst. We showed the galaxy that true power comes not from domination, but from cooperation." She gestured to the transformed Lazarus, visible through the hall's massive windows as it orbited Earth. "That ship represents our future. Not human, not alien, but something new, something better. We face challenges ahead, but we face them together." As delegates from across the galaxy applauded, Dr. Patel approached Maya quietly. "The quantum core detected something interesting today. Energy signatures from beyond the galaxy's edge. It seems the universe has more surprises in store." Maya smiled. Whatever came next, they would face it as a united galaxy. The Confederation had tried to prevent change through control and division. Instead, they had created the conditions for the greatest transformation in galactic history. Humanity hadn't just survived its first interstellar crisis. It had helped forge a new way forward for all species. As the applause continued, Maya thought about how far they'd come from that first threatening ultimatum. The Confederation had expected to find primitives playing with borrowed technology. Instead, they had found something far more powerful, a species that could inspire others to dream of better possibilities. The age of division was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And somewhere out there, beyond the galaxy's edge, new adventures waited.